Welcome back. Of course, you're watching Bernama World right here on Bernama TV. Now, China and Malaysia have long enjoyed strong bilateral ties, but global trade tensions and shifting supply chains are now reshaping how both countries engage with each other and the wider region. Well, this year's China ASEAN Expo takes place as ASEAN and China move forward to upgrade their free trade area to version 3.0, which promises to bring new opportunities and challenges. Well, to explore what this really means for Malaysia, ASEAN and everyday people across the region, we're now joined by Zheng, Songwu, CGTN reporter. Zheng, it's good to have you with us. I understand the time difference, but thanks for stepping in to have this conversation. Now, China and Malaysia have enjoyed decades of strong bilateral ties. How do you view these relations being reshaped today amid the US tariffs and other shifting global trade dynamics?
Well, thank you for having me here today. I believe rather than being weakened by global trade tension, the Malaysia-China relationship is becoming more intricate and solidified because we have a very strong economic foundation. And of course, our economic foundation is much stronger than ever. And China has been Malaysia's largest trading partner for 16 consecutive years. And last year, the bilateral trade volume between our countries reached over 200 billion US dollars, and this year's been over 100 billion US dollars. And also, Malaysia is also China's second largest trading partner within ASEAN, and its largest source of ports as well. So Donald Trump announced to impose tariffs both on China and then Malaysia. For example, 25% tariffs on Malaysia, and although it was reduced to 19% after the negotiations, I think the industry or foreign industry in Malaysia also been affected. And in April this year, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Malaysia, and he said that the two countries should jointly push forward the common development of the global south. And His Majesty also said that Malaysia is dedicated to realizing a greater development of ASEAN-China relationship. All these have showcased the mutual trust between China and Malaysia. And of course, Malaysia's agricultural products like coffee or durian are very popular now in China because of the cooperation. And we also have a visa-free policy for citizens from both countries for up to 30 days per trip. So the ties between the two countries definitely are becoming more and more solidified.
That's right. I do echo your insights there. Now, in terms of close economic links with China, we see that there's also growing links within ASEAN and China. But we also look at China, for example. Changes within China's growth will carry implications for the region, for the ASEAN bloc. How is this being reflected in discussions at the Expo this year?
Well, the different discussions are underway recently, and of course in the next few days. And this year's Expo running 5 days from September 17th to 21 from today, and will host around over 3,000 companies and participants. And of course, a key highlight is a focus on emerging industries such as the AI industry, artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, and also the blue economy, which is related to sea. So people are expected to see robots, drones, electric cars, etc. And of course, the total China and ASEAN trade volume are worth well above 600 billion US dollars a year just in this year, just in the first 8 months of 2025. So all in all, I think the Expo reflects China's push to showcase new growth drivers in its trade with Southeast Asia.
Well, Zheng, we look at diversity or diversification. That's now a priority. And how does the Expo present itself as more than just a China-ASEAN trade event? Does it go forward to even open pathways for ASEAN to expand into these markets?
Yes, definitely, because China has been ASEAN's largest trading partner since 2009. That was about 16 years ago. And up to August of this year, trade between the two sides reached over 600 billion US dollars. So the expo now has been a springboard, I would say, for ASEAN to connect with the wider global markets in a few aspects. For example, the expo facilities policy alignment and the mutual recognition of standard and rules by deepening the implementation of the China ASEAN Free Trade Area 3.0, as you said, and as well as the RCEP. It also expands cooperation in emerging fields, as I said, like the digital economy and green development, as well as AI industry, providing industrial foundations and a policy support for regional economic integration. So it also has facilitated the implementation of projects like the popular one, like the China, Malaysia, two countries, twin parks, and generally all these have helped ASEAN to expand into markets worldwide.
That's right. We're looking at some images here as well, showing the diversity in terms of the types of trade that go on between countries within the region, especially here with Malaysia as well. But saying on the multilateral front, ASEAN and China are working toward the version 3.0 upgrade of what we know as the China-ASEAN Free Trade Area. Now, what are some new features or perhaps some other priorities that we can expect in this upgraded framework?
Yeah, and I'd like to look back first, and we will look at the negotiations for the upgrade that began in 2022 and have concluded in May this year with a formal signing at the end of this year. So the 3.0 version goes beyond tariff with 9 chapters covering things like the green economy, digital economy, as I said, and also supply chain security. So these are all crucial at a time of rising global protectionism. So the flow of high quality products within the region will accelerate under the version, and it will also provide consumers with more opportunities to access superior goods and meet increasingly diverse demands. So it will also create more job opportunities for ordinary people, especially in fields such as digital technology and green economy.
Now, of course, all countries, and not just within the ASEAN bloc, are concerned about navigating through the global trade headwinds, and they also are interested to strengthen their own economic resilience. So in terms of practicality, how will these version upgrades help these ASEAN economies and Malaysia?
Well, I think the FTA 3.0 is designed to help economies like Malaysia navigate global challenges. For example, the supply chain disruptions by deepening regional integration and making it more future-proof. So it will first enhance the market access. For example, the FTA 3.0 focuses on behind the border barriers. So that means simplifying customers' procedures, standards, and the technical regulations. For example, for a Malaysia exporter, this translates to a faster clearance at the Chinese ports and like lower costs and fewer rejections due to regular differences. But on the other, will also help us strengthen supply chain resilience. For example, the 3.0 actively promotes regional value chains. For example, a Malaysian semiconductor company might design a chip. They will source raw materials from Indonesia and use specialized manufacturing services in Thailand, and then export the final product to China. And the entire process is facilitated by the FTA 3.0, and which will make the region less vulnerable to disruptions outside of Asia in the world.
Well, for ordinary people in ASEAN, why should they be paying attention to the Expo and the version upgrade of the Free Trade 3.0? And how can these initiatives then translate into meaning for them in terms of jobs and investments and new opportunities?
Yeah, I think that's a very significant aspect for ordinary people, like my friends, like my family. Expo and the FTA 3.0 are not just abstract political concepts. There are maybe engines for creating tangible opportunities. For example, for the average person, the most direct impact is employment. So the FTA 3.0 on the digital economy, like e-commerce and cloud computing, etc., and the green, including the renewable energy, electric cars, sustainable agriculture, etc. So new industries, new skills that will be trained. So and in another, I also believe that it will support the local business, like when a family producer in Thailand or Malaysia uses this expo to find a Chinese distributor, their business growth, and a business growth means they need to hire more people, more production staff, more logistics coordinators, and more salespeople. So these will create jobs with local communities. So for ordinary people, all in all, this is not about just abstract political concept. It's all about like a new job in a tech company, a higher income for their families, a cheaper smartphone for their children, and also the opportunity to start a business that serves a market of billions, not just millions.
That's right. It's clear that these platforms, the Expo and the Free Trade, are not just about trade statistics, Zheng, but also about how it can come into play by creating jobs and investments and new opportunities that really help to touch and change the lives of people across ASEAN. Zheng, we want to thank you for your time and for your perspective. We hope to have that chat with you again. We'll speak to you soon.